Well, ladies and gents, today we're going to be doing a little bit of engine swapping. You're watching Lambinski's Garage. Let's get it. So the plan here is to take the engine out of this truck, a 1963 D200, and we're going to transplant it into that truck because that one is much closer to driving than, well, that one. So let's go over it real quick. This truck right here is an absolute beauty. This is a 1964 D100 Dodge. Half-ton, long bed, two-wheel drive, 4-speed truck. If you haven't seen the video on when we went and got this truck, it was a real honey hole down in Oregon. I highly suggest you go watch that video. Link will be in the description. What? It's just me. Huh? Hey, you okay? Good girl. I highly suggest you go watch that because this truck and all of that stuff is just so cool. This one is way killer. Super nice. Good floors, good rockers, good everything. But, oh, it doesn't have a latch in it, that's right. But the engine in this one is a little less than to be desired. As you can see, the old 318 is, well, ain't much of her left. So, we got to pull that 318. We're going to put probably the engine and transmission in this one, get it all cleaned up, and then it'll be something that probably one of you guys are going to want. It'll be up for sale. As you know, we've got, the market is pretty well cornered. We can't keep them all. So if we can build one and make it so you guys can get it, that's not so bad either. So, let's go get that engine pulled. Well, this took way longer than it should have. As you can see, this engine ain't in bad shape. She's nice and clean and shiny. It was supposed to have been rebuilt, but I don't know if it just went back to stock. I'm sure it probably did. And I'm not really sure if it's a Craigslist rebuild or not. Because, well, he didn't put any oil in it, and there's just questionable things that were done to this fine ride. But we're going to crack her open. We'll take a look under a valve cover, see what it looks like. Maybe we'll even pull the pan, see if we can see any evidence of people being inside here at all. Anyways, this engine needs to go in that other truck. So let's get down to it and get her done. You guys don't generally get to see how we move stuff without engines and stuff in them, so let's get this thing loaded. As you can see, we have a bar in between both of the trucks that hook to the hitches. So you just take my Cummins, my 12 valve there, and hook them up, and it's got enough torque to push anything around and push them up on the lift. It works pretty good, and we use it all the time. So that's about the best way we got to move this stuff around. current plan is to pull that transmission and then drag it back over here, put this engine in it, then drag it back over here and put the transmission back in. Here is pretty well what we would call a Craigslist rebuild. It's been done poorly, to say the least. It was put together dry. They didn't put oil in it. There's rust. I mean, even look at the dipstick. There's rust on the dipstick. They didn't put new plugs in. The water pump was the bearing's bad. So, I mean, look at these plugs. They're old. They've been ran already. And this was supposed to be a rebuilt engine. That's why we bought it. But that just goes to show, if you're going to buy one of these trucks or cars or anything that has a rebuilt engine, make sure it's got paperwork, because your buddy that did it in his backyard just ain't gonna cut it. But, I mean, unless you're building it yourself, then that's okay. But if you're buying it, make sure it's got papers, because this ain't that cool anymore. Another little update, this crank pulley, you couldn't see the timing marks on it whatsoever, and it was kind of crushed in a little bit in like 4 spots around it. I don't know if they tried to grab it with one of those grabby pullers or what, but they didn't do it any justice. So we took the one off of that engine, got it cleaned up, and it's painted now, and it's gonna go back on. But let me tell you, I could not get this thing to break loose, even with this big ratchet. We had to lift it up in the air, take the starter off, and get on the ring gear so it would turn over with one of these big bars. Man, I'm just really worried about the crank bearings and all that kind of stuff, because it's not good. Yogi, what do you think? Yeah, you're probably right. But anyways, we'll get this thing put together and get her put in the truck, I guess. Well, it's another day, and we're getting that much closer to putting it in the truck. We just adjusted the valves, and this engine, I mean, man, none of the valves were even adjusted. A lot of the forms and stuff say to do these hot. But how am I supposed to do it hot when it's sitting here on the floor? So we did some more digging, and they said add 2 thousandths to each one, and then fire it up, warm it up, and adjust them again. So that's what we're going to do. But we're getting closer to getting her stabbed in there. Would you look at that? The new engine is stabbed in and in place. Now we just got to move it back over to where our new Monaco is, and bolt it all up and put the transmission back in and accessories and blah, 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 blah. But we're getting there. Well, guys, as much as I hate being the bearer of bad news, this poor 318 sure has a lot of it to give. And we moved it over and pulled the flywheel out, and the soft plug that goes in the back where the cam is not there. It wasn't installed. So if we would have fired this engine up, it would have just dumped oil out of the back of the engine. So, you know, that really makes us question everything that this guy did. And I just don't know what we can do other than to pull this engine and completely take it apart. So that pretty well puts a damper on putting an engine in this thing. We're not very happy about it, so she's actually going to go on the back burner for a little while. This is going to have to be a two-part video, and I'll put the other part in the description and at the end of this video when it comes out, but I can't promise you when that's going to be, and I don't know. So, anyways, that's about all we got on this pickup right now. Hopefully we got more videos coming. We got that really cool 66 Monaco that I think you guys are going to enjoy. I got to get it cleaned up, and we're going to try to take it to Heat on the Street, which is our big rod run for locals around here. But anyways, that's it for today. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day.